He was bogus yesterday, bro.
For me?
You threw the high school level under the bus hard.
How I throw the high school level under the
You was, man, look. Let me tell you what I look at practice. Damn. We know the difference between high school football and college football. Yeah, you took it there, my brother. You took it there. I have a question, dude. We're going to talk about where Notre Dame sits in the current landscape of college football in multiple areas, right? And we talked about this Josh Pate clip, and it made me dig back in the archives when we had the Big Ten Network's Howard Griffith on the show. And he talked about why athletes want to go to Notre Dame. And just really think about it, because Marcus Freeman, the head coach, is a perfect example, right? You're 17, you come to Notre Dame on a visit, and it makes sense. It makes sense. Like, I don't think there is anybody, I mean, of course, there are kids that just from the jump are not interested. But the vast majority of your big-time kids that come to Notre Dame, they come to Notre Dame, they know Notre Dame, they feel the tradition, they feel the history, they understand the academics, they understand 4 for 40 and now 4 for forever. And it makes sense. It makes sense.
You said it makes sense?
Let me take you back to most of us, right?
Okay.
And this is why, remember I told you I'm not really a follower. We talked about that last week. Like the girls that everyone like loves, jumps on, like Beyonce, all that. I'm good on that. I'm cool with Kelly. You know what I'm saying? Let me be over here, right? And the reason I got to that point is because, like most teenagers, I'm the goofy that chases after and loves these same 4 to 5 girls in the same high school. This happens all over America, right? It's the same 4 to 5, maybe 5 to 10 girls in the high school that everyone is like, oh my God, right? Man, she's gorgeous. Man, she's cold. Da, da, da. And then you have what some people may deem as the late bloomers, right? Or the ones you ignore, right? Because you're not really able to extrapolate, you know what I'm saying, what they're going to look like when it's really
that you don't really see like that.
Really cool. Maybe it's the braces. Maybe it was the glasses that just kind of sent things off. You could put your finger on it. Yeah. So that's, for me, that's what Notre Dame is, right? It's just like these 16, 17-year-olds get it, but it's something that just kind of makes Notre Dame seem a little bit off. To whereas guys like Caleb Downs, Richard Young, other top guys really like Notre Dame, but you know what? I'm going to have to friend zone. I'm going to have to friend zone. And for me, because we can get to numbers and like where they rank, all of that, but then, because then you hate it, right? And then you end up with an experience like Marcus Freeman, where he gets to his 30s, and now he's looking at Notre Dame, and Notre Dame is banging, right? He's like, yo, man, if I could do it all over again, I probably should have gone to Notre Dame, right? You pop up at the 10-year reunion at the high school, and you're like, word? Is that all? That's that's not.
Yeah, we and it's funny because we excited to go to the 10-year because we know we finna act cool.
Right.
They have no idea we finna come back and tell them all the stories we done got on. Yeah.
Right. And so you're like, man. But little do we know, You have to be able to think future at a time when your mind isn't fully developed and really is thinking about the present, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like, man, would you rank Notre Dame fourth? Would you rank Notre Dame fifth in programs right now? And then ultimately I said, you know what? Really doesn't make a difference. Really doesn't make a difference. You're just going to have to chop wood as a program and continue to try to get these young men to see that, hey, you got to look past the braces. You got to look past, me being in all AP classes. You got to look past all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But really, when you think about it, that's one thing I'm happy. I'm very happy because the way you entreat recruits in the class of 2023 has an impact on the way you're perceived in 24 and 25 because these kids talk. They talk regardless of whether or not they choose your particular school or program. These kids talk. Like we talked off the record about a specific coach for one of the recruits we interviewed, and he just was like, yo, anybody that ever asked me about that dude in that school, like I'm letting it ride. And I was like, man, like that's wild. But you have to be conscious of that. And I think Notre Dame is sitting at a place in the landscape where, from a business standpoint, they're always going to be relevant and very much woven into the blanket that is college football and the business of college football. As far as college football itself, Notre Dame's gonna have to win. That's just it.
Yeah.
It's certain things that can only be taken care of by winning, right? Like
for Marcus Freeman to solidify himself, especially solidify how well this offseason went, he's got to win. And he's definitely got to, I don't want to say it's a must-win Ohio State game, but it's a must-win from the standpoint of people will feel like, okay, now we on to something. I think it would just set back Marcus Freeman just a little bit in his splash of college football if we go out in Ohio State and get smacked around. Even if we lose, I think if it was a last-second field goal, it'll go a far way. But if we go in there and get blown out by 21-plus points, there's going to be a lot of swirling conversations that can be distracting for the rest of the season.
Yeah, winning is going to change the narrative, and winning is going to allow you to really go and lock down some of those top recruits. Like I read a report yesterday, like the number 2 and the number 3 cornerbacks in the 2023 class are committed to Alabama. And the number 5, Malik Muhammad, has it down between Texas, Alabama, and I believe Texas A&M. With a strong lean to Alabama at this point, according to reports. That's somebody that Notre Dame went after heavy out of the state of Texas. But Notre Dame isn't at that
antithesis yet.
And
those are NIL schools too, by the way.
Yeah, right. That's facts. And so when you look at recruiting, the Dante Moore issue has nothing to do with this because that's apples to oranges. But when we start talking about Caleb Downs, we start getting kids out of the state of Georgia that are like top 5 players in the nation, Samuel Mpemba, and guys like that, you have to see some wins on the field. I'm talking about some big time wins. I'm talking about some wins in big bowl games, some wins in the college football playoff. It's like it's only so much you can do. Only so much you can put out. Tradition, Notre Dame, like eventually
we gotta have memorable wins for sure. I think right now where Notre Dame is, we have a lot of memorable losses People can point to the Ohio State loss in 2015. You can point to losing to Clemson on the 2-point conversion. You can point to losing to Florida State when they had Jameis Winston and Jalen Ramsey. So we have a lot of memorable losses. Even the Fiesta Bowl to Oklahoma State is memorable from the fact that there's another opportunity where we can't get it done. And I think for Marcus Freeman changing that narrative, it won't take much, which is a good thing. You know, we win one January 6th bowl win or win a playoff game. That's better than 6 years of what we've done previous, all combined.
Yeah.
So even better than the undefeated season in the regular season that we had, winning a playoff game, winning a big bowl game like the Fiesta Bowl. So I think that there's a lot of promise in there, but it's either hate it or love it. You know, people are either going to love this season or have a lot of negative things to say about this season.
Yeah, so, that's for me, that's where Notre Dame resides in the current landscape or today's landscape of college football. Like, you're that one that a lot of people recognize, but then you're that one that gets overlooked because you're not quite where the popular girls are in school. Mm-hmm. Like you got a cute thing going on. Don't get me wrong. And you're different because you don't really present yourself the way others might present themselves to get attention. Mm. You know what I mean? You don't have to. You have your thoughts, you have your ways you go about doing things, and you stick to it. Right? And when you're dealing with certain things, they might not be able to recognize it. But, just let time go on and you continue to grow. Continue to grow and let them come back around the block. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, snap. Okay. And who would you rather be? Would you rather be the one that peaks in high school? Or would you rather be the one that's peaking like in your 20s and your 30s? I tell this all the time, especially to my young boys, the teenage boys. Yeah. Like, hey, bro, all of that trying to be the cool dude right now is for the birds.
It says for the birds?
For the birds, dog. That's short-lived. Like, no, player. You want to peak around 26, 27.
Yeah, that's my age. That's pretty smooth time now.
You know what I'm saying? 26, 27. And then, because you're limited. Peaking in high school when you local.
Oh, it's tough.
No, but peaking when you like 26, 27, you actually are traveling, meeting people from all around the country and the world. Man, got a little cash in your pocket.
Yeah.
That's when you want to peak. Oh, don't fall for this trap. Don't fall for this rabbit hole of high school and being the most popular dude. Like, nah. Don't fall for that. Yeah. So that's Tim. We did get it. And I actually took a screenshot. Thank you, Tim Go Irish, for the super chat yesterday. We forgot to get to it. I took a screenshot on the way out, and I was going to post it on today's show to show you some love for that. Thank you, Tim, and everybody else. Thanks, we had another super chat yesterday that I wanted to get in there. So, this is from a show we did with Howard Griffith when he was talking about Notre Dame players and athletes wanting to go to Notre Dame.
There's a laundry list of players that have gone on and played other places that wanted to go to Notre Dame, but somebody may not have been on the campus to host them because recruiting may not have been as popular. They may have been out at the lake house and didn't want to come back to campus. If you look at the great teams, when it comes down to recruiting, it's 365. If a recruit is in town, on a swing, whether he's going to Ohio State, Michigan, and wants to come to Notre Dame, you can't tell that kid he can't come because the head coach is not around or the offensive coordinators are not around. That doesn't work. You really get one good shot, right? And they want to come see it, and you better be available. And I get it, and it works for some people, but I think to take the next step, you've got to have the guy at the top. I mentioned this earlier. That's going to recruit 365 and is going to demand those same things out of his assistant coaches. Because now Urban Meyer was out of his mind when it came to recruiting. I mean, he was out of his mind. It was described as, every day, every hour was 4th and 1 for him. And that's how he coached, and that's how he recruited. So you couldn't tell him that a recruit called and he didn't get a call back in 10, 15 minutes, because that was really their rule. I think Marcus will have a lot of those qualities in him, and I think Notre Dame will be able to get some of those players that are that next level type that steps on the field and he's just different than everybody else. And they've always had talent. I can remember seeing that team because Jerry DiNardo would be with us. And sometimes we'd stop in South Bend to watch practices, and it'd be like, man, these guys, the talent's here. I can't figure out why it's not working. Well, I kind of figured that out later on, but then, it's just one of those things. So I think the short answer is it comes down to recruiting, comes down to the guy at the top and understanding that. And I think that there are young men and women across this country that are elite athletes that want both.
There it is, man. There it is.
It's elite athletes that want both. That's for sure.
And you have to have the right guy in place to get those guys. You just have to. There's no if, and, or buts about it. Like Nick Saban is the right guy. Kirby Smart is the right guy. Dabo Swinney is the right guy. And don't get me wrong, we don't want to mislead anyone. Dude, heck, the teams you played on were probably some of the most talented in the last 10 years at Notre Dame.
For sure.
Just flat out. Just talent. Man, I'm talking about national championship talent.
We that was one of the few years I felt like we could actually compete with Alabama, where it wouldn't be like, oh, we got to have some good game plan. Like, I think toe for toe we could have, looked like the Georgia-Alabama game of last year, just from that was an evenly based team, and it could have went into either way.
Man, look, it's at the point where the fan base, based upon what we've seen in the 23 class and 24 class, eventually it's going to happen. And when I say that, I'm talking about eventually the dam is going to break. And eventually Notre Dame is going to put together a class where they get those top-notch guys, 2 top 10 guys, 2 top 15 guys in the nation, difference makers like Howard Griffith just said, guys that step on the field and immediately like, man, it's that they're different. Like, this is a different dude, and you know it immediately. So it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And the way it can happen, the quickest route to that is for Notre Dame to win games. Big time games. That's it. We can sit up here. We can talk about Marcus Freeman. We can talk about the staff. Look at here, man. Look at here. I should have had a cowboy hat on when I said that.
That's straight up. Look at here, fella. Look at here, fella.
If Notre Dame goes out and beats Ohio State, let me tell you something. All of those
recruits. We locking in recruits.
All of those kids that took their recruiting into the fall are going to take notice. You can believe it.
Yes.
Right? It's Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Notre Dame for Caleb Downs. You want to impress Caleb Downs? You walk into the horseshoe and you bang on them, and then you send a safety to the NFL draft in the first round. That's what you do.
For the second year.
For the second year in a row. You want to do that? You really want to take the next step? Do that. Do that.
Because he'll probably commit right after.
Man.
He'll probably commit after the game if we mess around winning style.
Can you imagine if you were Chris O'Leary? Can you imagine what your tweet, not your tweet, but your text to Caleb Downs would be?
Yep.
after beating Ohio State.
So now what?
Like,
What they
are
gotta
you
say?
Are you sure you really want to come here? Really?
Yeah.
This way you want to go? I mean, because that's the type of stuff people say about Notre Dame. That's the negative recruiting that's been going on with Notre Dame. You better believe after the Fiesta Bowl, coaches were like, see, nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
New head coach, same thing. Win games. You want to change the narrative? You want to take a step up? Win some games.
Win some games, dog.
I'm not talking about going through. We know you can go 10, 11, 10 and 2, 11 and 1, 12 and 0. You've done it. We've seen it. It's been consistent. You got to win some games. You got to win some games. Help your fan base out when we debate with other fan bases.
Oh,
Give us something to fight with, for real.
Because it's getting real tiresome. They hit us like the Lamar can't run comment narrative all day. Yeah. Oh, you guys don't win the big game. That's their favorite line. Just like how they hit Lamar with, oh, you're just a running back that plays quarterback. They hit us with the, oh, Notre Dame just can't win the big one. That's right. And it's like after a while, it's like, yes, we can. Because we're consistent. We just, come on, team, back us up. We need to get one of them clips again.
That's all. That's all. Man, just back us up a little bit. That's all. Right? You know me, I'm a lifelong Cowboys fan, right? I'm going through the same thing, bro. I can't hold on to the 90s too much longer, bro.
Yeah, can't hold on.
I can't. I can't. Now, as a Chicago Bulls fan, I don't care. I got sick. I'm straight.
Everybody
so, you got to be honest. You got to be honest. Like, the Patriots can suck for like the next 20 years.
And nobody
Kids that grew up with Tom Brady, they don't care. They like, dude, we good. We got 7. Really good. Yeah, we straight. Like, if we never see another championship for the Patriots ever, that's how I feel. Yeah. Like, dude, I had 6. Like, back to back. Like, I'm straight. 6 and 8 years, that's an overload. Like, I need a rest. Like, that's way too much playoff basketball that my heart had to go through.
That's right.
Like, I need a rest. And the Bulls have given me a nice rest. Now, for the next generation, I hope, that DeMar and Zach and Lonzo, and I hope they can do some things. At least make consistent, good basketball.
Just be consistent, man. I think a lot of fan bases miss consistency. Unfortunately for us, we got that part. We're just missing the big wins, the big rememberable wins. We have a lot of forgettable seasons.
Yeah.
To be as consistent as we are, we're very forgettable in our seasons.
Oh, say that again. That's good.
As consistent.
Uh-huh.
Putting in guys in the league, winning 9, 10 games a year. All of that is a very forgettable thing. Like Coach Kelly's career summed up. If he didn't win the winningest coach of all time in Notre Dame, what is he really accomplished? That you were like, man, when Notre Dame had Brian Kelly, they did this. All you can really say if it wasn't for the winningest coach of all time is that he had pretty solid seasons, but there wasn't too many game-defining, oh, man, if we had Kelly during that time, like how we remember Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz had no trouble in the Big Ten. Lou Holtz had many different memorable things, stories, guys still talking about it today. Coach Kelly's like, yeah, he was there for a long time. He was close to getting fired here, close to getting fired there.
Right.
Won a bunch of games, but I can't think of one game where I'm like, man, like actually, I remember him leaving Cincinnati right before the bowl game more than I do anything at Notre Dame. Because
what is the most memorable moment at Notre Dame under Brian Kelly? It would have to be that 2012 season. It may be like the goal line stand against Stanford.
Yeah, that was a really good one. That was a really good one, but
the most memorable moment.
That was 10 years ago. That was like when he first started. You got to think we had an undefeated regular season that wasn't even as hyped up as the 88 year because we didn't win a championship. So it just didn't stick. Like,
see, Garland Dox, he said his biggest win was against Clemson.
Was
And
against Clemson, not the Clemson Tigers, because they didn't have Trevor Lawrence.
that's facts. That's facts. I still don't think that moment was bigger than beating Stanford on that goal line stand. Like that was.
Yeah, and it was in the rain. It was a movie.
Yeah, and at that point in time, Stanford was like banging on Notre Dame, like real bad, like beating Notre Dame at their own game.
Yeah, running
trenches
and being physical. Yeah,
just being physical. So, yeah. And honestly, I think this year's Clemson game is the true test, right? Because you beat Clemson at home in double overtime, but you go get smacked at the ACC championship game when Trevor Lawrence shows up. So it's kind of like, all right, that kind of cancels that win out. This year, if they come in here and you spank them again, now it's like, okay, that's the second time Clemson has walked in here and had to take that L.
But it was never a rivalry between us and Clemson because we always lost. We're like 1-3 versus Clemson in the last meetings. Or what? 1-5, 1-4?
Yeah.
1-4. So it's not even a rivalry. It's just like, I mean, they treat us like a regular ACC team at that point.
Yeah. That 2012 season is probably, which is crazy, right? The most memorable thing is like from 2012, and he was here like another 10 years after that.
Like, yeah, and we've had undefeated regular seasons, multiple playoff appearances. I mean, been in the top 10 consistently every year, but it just nothing was stuck with you. And it's the only thing that really sticks with you, honestly, is just some of the players that were able to come through. You got Zach Martin, Ronnie Stanley, Quinn Nelson, Jalen Smith.
Yeah.
You could tie that to Coach Kelly's recruitment. Like Coach Kelly on a resume basis, you're like, damn, you're a Hall of Fame, top-notch coach. But then when you get your eyes off the paper and just observe from just a first-person point of view or just a fan, you're like, man, you're just a forgettable dude. Like, forgettable in the sense that, like, I can't, like, when you think of Auburn, I think of Gus Malzahn and Cam Newton. That year they won, and all the things Gus Malzahn was doing, beating Bama when they was the kick six, and just there's a lot of memorable moments from Gus Malzahn.
Yeah.
And did they win? Yeah, they won one championship. But there's other moments that I remember.
Yeah. Wow.
But Brian Kelly's most memorable moment are probably terrible stuff like the kid at practice falling off the thing, or the scandal where we, all type of
Declan Sullivan. Man, look, that. Yeah, I don't want to harp on that too much, man.
But Marcus Freeman can make a huge memorable moment beat Ohio State.
Oh, off the bat.
Off the bat.
Man, I'm gonna watch that game. If they win, I'm watching that game at least 3 times before.
At least. It'll go down as a top Notre Dame game for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. In history of Notre Dame, it'll go down as a top game in Notre Dame history.
I'll probably go back to the hotel, watch it on my YouTube TV on my phone.
Before we even talk about it.
And watch it again after we talk about it. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, it might trump. Wow.
It would trump.
A win against Ohio State might be the biggest win in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. That's crazy. Considering the fact, that's crazy. Is it that big?
It is that big. It is that big. Because what's a victory that we've had that was comparable? Because we lost to them last time they was this good. Which is something you remember, another loss. That's when they had Joey Bosa, Zeke, Michael Thomas, Eli Apple. I mean, they had some dogs now. Joey Bosa got kicked out the first drive of the game.
Can I keep it 100?
Yeah.
when you guys beat LSU, I really wasn't impressed.
In 2015?
Yeah, I wasn't impressed
Yeah, I wasn't either.
because I felt like you all were better. Like
We
everybody else
was.
was like we beat LSU. I'm like, we're better than
We was a
LSU.
better team. Because
Like,
I remember it was before we got selected for LSU, it was between them and I think it was Auburn. It was because we had lost to USC, right?
USC, right?
And we had got to the bowl game where it's like, oh, we're gonna play LSU, or it was Auburn or something.
Yeah,
And we wanted Auburn. Because we like LSU ain't going, we didn't think they was gonna take it serious. Because it
like
wasn't like
at that point, all they had was Fournette. That's all
yeah,
they had.
yeah, that's all they had. They had Arden Key, he was solid, a couple defensive guys, but you know, SEC teams is playing for the SEC championship and the playoffs.
Right.
So if they have anything of an average season, them boys on the team don't care. So we was like, man, we're gonna go to play LSU, and you know, we know we're gonna have a mental advantage because they had not gonna be there. They're like, man, why are we playing this non-heard of?
So like everybody else, like I was happy we won the game, and it was a sloppy field, sloppy conditions, not too much you could really expect. But at the end of the day, I was just like, I remember vividly cutting the TV off, like, all right.
Yeah. Well, our expectations were set so high. We just went to the championship.
But
I
you have
think
to remember that's a season. That's a season where you start off on fire. You know what I'm saying? You go down to Florida State with a chance to be like top 3 in the nation. That was one of the toughest seasons. That Florida State game, that Arizona State game.
Oh, the Arizona State game was crazy.
That USC game, man. That
USC, yeah.
That season was torture. Like for a team that you knew was better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, we're better than this.
We're better than this. And you're looking around and we're just
like you look at the offensive weapons, it's like, dude, we should be putting up 40, 50 points at will.
We should be going crazy. We should be going crazy.
And it ended up being one of the most frustrating seasons. So just like imagine that and watching that LSU game and barely beating LSU, most people were happy. And I'm sitting up here like,
we squeezing victories around teams we better than.
Like, man, we should have smacked these dudes, man. And we giving
but you see what expectations can really do for a team. Like, think about the fact that 2012, when we played the national championship, that was a game for the fan base to feel really proud about if we came out victorious, because that team was slotted and expected to beat us. Fast forward the year after, we're playing LSU. We all knew we were supposed to beat them on paper.
Yeah.
So making it close just gets you a sour taste in your mouth, because you're like, why are you playing around with them?
Yeah.
Why you waste time? And then, you know, you fast forward again, we go to play Rutgers, and, you know, that's an expected win. But it wasn't until we had that game against Clemson where it was another expectation game, and we fell short. Even though it was close, even though it was this and that and the third, we fell short. Florida State expectation game, defining moment in Kelly's career, away game, this, that, and the third. They on a hot streak, 22 games straight. That's a defining moment to win, and we lose that one. So it's like these losses in critical moments.
I mean, there was some extenuating circumstances surrounding it.
They always some extenuating circumstances, though.
Like that, yeah. That
the loss to Georgia.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, we were right there. The loss to Clemson in Dallas.
Yeah.
It was 2 or 3 play difference. We played good defense on all them touchdowns. He just made a better play. I mean, T. Higgins played the Super Bowl last year. So, like, what do you want? What do you want?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it hasn't been a moment where you can really say, like, man, if we didn't have Manti or some of these Tuits or Will Fullers or Jalen Smiths of the world or Q Nelsons, what are we really saying then? You know, we know different than the team he left to come here, which was Cincinnati. So Marcus Freeman is in a very good position for the fact that one win can erase a lot of years that we put in, you know,
Right.
memorable moments. But losing would just fit more the narrative that people damn near don't even want to see us no more in the playoffs. Because they say, what you gonna put Notre Dame in there for? I really think Cincinnati got in there because the committee was like, look, Notre Dame's gonna bring the ratings and all that, but we don't want to watch no boring game. Because even in the game against Clemson, I turned the TV off about a couple times, changed channel, came back to it. It'd be hard watching us play games that we don't know we can win or not. We should win.
Yeah.
It's so sloppy the whole time. You're like, man, I can't watch this. So, whew.
My fault. I didn't mean to take you back.
No, I'm just saying it's frustrating. It's frustrating because what is the memorable victory? A lot of wins in them team years, but what's the memorable victories? We can't even call those.
Yo, because I'm watching the other night, bro. I'm watching back-to-back games on the Big Ten Network. And they showed like the 2000 number 1 versus number 2 Oklahoma against Nebraska. And then they went to the Fiesta Bowl. And it was Florida against Nebraska. And dude, Nebraska just pounded these dudes, man. I'm just lined up. And, dude, here comes Lawrence Phillips. Lawrence Phillips goes out. Here comes Amon Green. Amon Green goes out. Here comes Clinton Childs. And I'm like, my God, like
my goodness,
dude. They just line it up, just full back. It's crazy. Then you know what? I'm a fake to the fullback. Here comes Tommy around the corner.
Yep.
And Tommy was that dude. Like Tommy Frazier was that dude.
Yeah.
He was that dude. And it made me think, like, we get so caught up in quarterbacking. When was the last time we just had a bona fide leader at quarterback? This is what I'm talking. Because Tommy, you so stupid. Tommy Frazier wasn't your. I mean, he was a great quarterback for that time because teams were still running a lot of options. He wasn't that accurate. You know, he wasn't about to drop back and throw the ball, go 20 for 30 for no.
It was a different game back then.
But he felt like he was the best player on the field, and he was a leader. And I'm trying to think, when was the last time Notre Dame had a guy at the quarterback position that walked on the field, felt like he was the best player on the field, and was like that type of leader? You know, because we can get caught up in stats, right? Now, look, I say that because your boy 12 has a makeup to where he'll walk on the field and think that he's the best player on the field.
Oh, yeah. I think Ian definitely had a leadership quality about
I'm
him.
not talking about Ian. No, don't disrespect Tommy Frazier like that. Don't do that. I meant the current 12. Come on, man. Stop. I doubt highly. I highly doubt that Ian Book walked on the football field and thought he was the best player on the field. He could have. I don't think so.
He
could have. I just don't think he did. I'm talking about Tyler Buckner. I think Tyler Buckner thinks.
I think Tyler Buckner has the similar attitude of a Kyler Murray. Like he just thinks like, man, I have to waste my time with you peasants on this field, man. I got to go ahead and ball out on y'all. Because it even looks like that, the way he just carry yourself is just like, man, give me the rock. I got
Yeah.
this. Like, I feel good in 2 minutes with Tyler Buckner because he don't give me no facial expression either, but he runs like he trying to get after it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
He play like he trying to get his knees dirty a little bit. But when you look at him, he just got this cool, like, oh, I'm just chilling, man. I'm just out here doing my job. So I really do like because Kyler Murray got the attitude of I'm the best dude ever. And he ain't lost his high school. He looked like it. He just carry himself like he should be out there every place. So I think Tyler Buckner has a lot of confidence and swag in that sense. Is that what the team needs? Like, is that what this team needs? A guy that's kind of, a different style of leadership. I would say that would be different from mine. It would be different from how, Brandon was. I think it's just I'm a lead by example with my play. I may not say a lot to you, but you got you when you look down there on the sideline and you see me, I'm gonna be locked in, ready to go. So I think he's going to give a calming sense to the offense. But having a calming sense to the offense doesn't mean we're gonna have a spark either. So we need to have a little bit of rah-rah. I really like the lineman commit, Elijah Wood. I mean, you got him over there talking like he Rico Flores. He like, yeah, we finna win. We finna do a championship. We finna be the best O-line. I'm like, okay. Like,
oh, you talking about Page? My fault.
Yeah, Elijah Page. Yeah, he was real excited joining the squad and being a part of that. So, I think Tyler Buckner got he's convincing me that he's got that right attitude. He just got to put the play out there on the field to match it.
My man said Ian Book. Like, hold on, man. Dude, please don't put him in the same boat with Tommy Frazier. No, sir.
See, he's the winningest quarterback of all time now.
Who?
Ian Book.
And that is very synonymous with Brian Kelly being the winningest coach of all time. Exactly. It has about the same amount of impact when you say it. Like, yep.
That's crazy. They went out the same year.
And if you really thought about it, in the history of Notre Dame, Ian might not be top 5 quarterback.
Not even. Yeah. That's just how, I don't know. It's just
he might be, but I mean,
if it wasn't a numbers thing,
every quarterback that won a national championship is probably ahead of him. Facts. We just be keeping it a buck. It's a lot of quarterbacks in Notre Dame that have won national championships.
That's right.
Ian, he can be the all-time winningest.
But
nah,
he's not the first pick in the quarterback draft.
No. I don't think people would take him over Brady Quinn.
Brady Quinn got a mystique that I think Brady Quinn would go number 1 just because he's such a Notre Dame, like he's implanted in what fan base think of Notre Dame quarterback.
Let me tell you what was snatched away from Brady Quinn that eventually went to somebody else. Because you know how in '88, the game before they came to South Bend, Miami was actually down 16 points at Michigan. And Michigan almost ruined the hype for the Notre Dame Miami game, right? Yeah. Brady Quinn almost killed everything for Vince Young. Almost killed everything for Vince Young.
Vince Young wouldn't have been the Vince Young.
Right.
Because it was like, who was it? It was like, it felt like the football guys was choosing one. They're like, Vince, Brady. Because Matt Leinart was already up there.
Because Brady was going to be the one to break the streak.
He was going to be the one to break the streak. Yeah, he was going to be the one to break the streak. So at the
he was right there.
Brady Quinn's career would have been totally different. I think off of moments like that, just from what people view him as.
Yeah.
He was already the golden child at Notre Dame. I mean, he could do no wrong. He looked like the part, everything. That right there.
That darn 4th down pass. But you got to give it. You gotta give it to Dwayne Jared and Matt Leinart, bro.
Yeah, them boys is hey, They was the golden standard at that point.
When you go into that moment and you throw the perfect pass, pass. I'm like, dog, ain't nothing you can do but tip your cap. Like, you know what? I couldn't be mad. I'm like, dog.
That was like the Tua pass to Devontae Smith in the championship. Just a perfect, like, damn, dog. But moments like that set up guys' careers.
Yeah.
That catch right there from Devontae Smith led to a Heisman his last year with a championship.
Yeah, changed Kirby Smart. The arc of his
career.
I mean, he's just now winning his first.
Just now winning his first after being that close.
After being that close. Yeah.
So just imagine how stuff changes, like
just like that.
Just
That's like crazy.
That. 1 or 2 plays can change a whole person's trajectory. Like, we probably would have never seen that Georgia defense if he didn't complete that pass, So,
like, Brady Quinn was that close to being known as the dude.
Like, on a not just a Notre Dame level.
No,
like he'll be known like Matt Leinart is to the college football.
Yeah, he would have been part of that ESPN 30 for 30 in a totally different way.
Yeah.
Like, man.
Because if we left it up to Notre Dame would have put him up there. Notre Dame would have had him as a number one.
He definitely would have gone to New York off that game.
Yeah.
He definitely would have been sitting up there for the Heisman.
And probably would have won just because it was Notre Dame. Notre Dame gonna get you that in the door, second interview just because of where you went,
If I'm not mistaken, Notre Dame lost to Ohio State that year.
Yep.
In the Fiesta Bowl in the bowl game.
That's when they had the AJ Hawk, Brady Quinn jersey, the split jersey.
Yes.
Yeah, where his girlfriend or something was it wasn't his sister. He dated his
sister. That bad fella get away late. It was a good game.
But that's why Notre Dame has been where it's been. Just like with Brian Kelly, another close loss. That defines us makes it so forgettable yet so lovable.
Yeah.
We're a close loss team when it matters, bro. That shit is the worst.
Yeah.
Close loss. Like, you just had to hold on to the rock or throw the touchdown. Just crazy stuff.
Woo, Lucky Lefty podcast, man. I'm gonna have to ask Brady next time because usually when we have Brady on, it's for something specific. We had him on to talk NIL, then we had him on again to talk about USC and UCLA moving to the Big Ten. Next time we're gonna have a sit down, like, let's go over some of these moments.
Let's talk this Notre Dame football with Brady.
I don't really look. Brady Quinn
about it that much.
This might be crazy, but Brady Quinn has more moments in his Notre Dame career than Brian Kelly probably had as a coach.
1,000%.
Just think about that.
1,000%. 1,000%. Like the way they love and revere Brady Quinn to this day. To this day. They wouldn't. What if they had to choose between who you bringing back to celebrate more? Who deserves a statue, Brian Kelly or Brady Quinn?
Oh, it's Brady Quinn first.
Oh, it's Brady Quinn first.
Brady Quinn first. Oh, that's easy. That's easy. That's without question. Is Brady
nobody would care that he didn't win a championship.
No.
That's how much they love Brady Quinn. They don't care that he didn't win a championship, but they want a statue for sure. For sure, put 10 up there, man. He'll be the first and only Notre Dame player with a statue, and nobody would be upset about
it.
Yeah. Nobody would be upset.
Yeah. Dang. When you put it like that, you're right.
It's crazy.
It's going to take the wins. I mean, ultimately, that's what it's going to take. It's going to take the wins. And Notre Dame is probably, I think you would probably say it, I would rank Notre Dame as the 5th best program in the nation right now.
5th because we haven't won.
That's the only reason.
That's the only reason.
And it's debatable. You can say 4.
I'll put us 4 for real.
You can say 4.
If it wasn't because of the wins, I would say 4. But damn near if it wasn't because of the wins, I'll say 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we win them games, there's no difference between us and Alabama on putting kids in the league, even though we don't get the same credit. We may not have the same first rounders.
Right.
But we put the amount of guys in the league like y'all do. Y'all just top loaded, y'all just get y'all guys chose first.
Oh man.
Y'all guys just go way earlier before us, but we get all our guys in too, But other than that, I mean, shoot, you put some wins on Notre Dame program as an independent standalone team. We should be considered third because everybody else is in the conference. Because if you look at the other independent teams, they so damn far from being elite. That has to mean something for us. People don't even give us that credit of being a superpower as a standalone, considering other standalone programs that are nowhere near close.
Facts.
They got hundreds of years before they catch up.
Facts.
So for us to not be in a conference and still hold weight like we do, that has to put us in the top 3.
Yeah.
But not winning when it matters in those moments, it takes us out of the top 3. So
yeah. Got a couple of super chats. Keith Nagy, we thank you for the super chat, super sticker. We appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the show. And then our guy Charlie Weiss, last belt loop. Thank you for the super chat. Did you see the quote from Ja was a lie about Jordan? Yeah, we said that on the Petty train yesterday. Yeah, we ragged ESPN about that yesterday.
ESPN is not the no longer the worldwide leader in sports. Is definitely us boys over here looking at that.
Dude, that's on the producer, man. That's on the producer, man. Like, for it to even make it to air, there's a lot of people that failed. It started with the producer that found it, but then there are some people above him that should have questioned some things.
Yeah, who ain't nobody got no checks and balances anymore.
There are checks and balances, but
this sounds pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And you would think it's the internet, so they're not just gonna let you slide on that and just, you know what I'm saying? They're not just gonna let you slide on that.
Yeah.
So the internet gonna figure you out and put a meme out before the segment's over.
Yeah. Yeah.
You in live segment, you're gonna have people live tweeting about it. So I didn't know how you thought you was gonna get away.
Man. So we thank you guys for joining us today, man. It's been a great show. Talking about Notre Dame's place in the landscape of college football from a business standpoint. And everything else. Like, share, hit the notification bell. And we just broke 2,400. It's all because of you guys, man. It's been an incredible ride. We just started like the last week of August of 2022, of 2021. And to be at this point with 2,400 subscribers, man, it's an absolute dream, absolute blessing. We appreciate you. But you know what time it is.
Petticoat, petticoat, petticoat junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty historic Petty Junction?
Petticoat Junction.
Yep. Petty Junction. Pettiest stories of the day. Each and every day brought to you by Onora Whiskey. OnoraWhiskey.com. It's that premium American whiskey. OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you're going to drink, make sure that you drink responsibly. Look, man, ESPN yesterday, and once again, they're back on it. Man, look, Bobby Marks, dude, you got to sit down somewhere.
I think Vegas has eaten me up, Malika, here and spit me out. But I feel that watching him during these playoffs, certainly during that finals, LeBron is a heck of a great player here. But I think As I said, I saw Jordan in his prime in the 90s. Curry reminds me a lot of that offensively, where he is a threat to beat you in a lot of different ways here. And as I said, I think we've got 3 or 4 more years of prime Curry leading up. But right now, I'm going to stick with it, right? Stick with it and saying he is the second best player of all time.
Bobby Marks. Man, look here, man. Look here, man. Look.
Jesus.
Bro, I don't know what's going on over at that network, bro. I have no clue. I thought I was seeing things when he look, man.
And he double backed on it. The disrespect to Magic is crazy. That's first and foremost.
He's not the second best player in the world right now.
Yeah, right now he's not the second best player in the world.
What are we talking of all time?
Yeah.
He compared this man to Michael Jordan, dude.
I've
never seen a team or teams in the playoffs search out Michael Jordan because he's a defensive liability. Never. Every team they played put this dude in pick and roll. Every team.
And you saw what happened when Kyrie did it to him. 3-1 lead loss.
Man, look.
Kyrie had 40 on this man 3 games in a row for pick and roll.
Bobby Marks. I see why you went to the media, bro.
That's right.
You're not in the front office anymore. Because if that's the way you view players, then your player evaluations are way off, bro. You call Steph Curry the second best player of all time.
Yeah. Can't be making those mistakes like that, man. That's real terrible.
Look, man.
I got another one too, by the way. And it goes to my dog, who I love and respect a lot, LeBron James. LeBron James is the biggest grifter on the planet Earth. The biggest grifter on the planet.
I already know where you're going. I already know where you're going.
From the fake reading the Malcolm X book.
Never read a word.
He's been on the same page at the front of the book for 3-4 years now. Talk about how much he read the book. He's outdoing himself now. Talking about if he was Brittany Griner, he doesn't know if he would want to come back to America. LeBron James. I get it, you want to transition at some point to the media. But you're the biggest grifter on the planet. I got a couple things. If she don't want to come back, where's she gonna go? Where's she gonna go, LeBron? If you was her, you don't want to come back to America, where you gonna go, LeBron?
I mean, it's certain you can live good. This is just me. It's certain parts of the motherland that I would live in my later life.
We talking about LeBron James, the man
all
this money saying, over here. If anybody else said that, if me and you said that, Shaun, you're right. There's a couple places in Ghana, a couple places in Tanzania that's real nice. Real nice.
Right.
I would love to go over there with some money. But
we talking about in South Africa, off the ocean. Yeah.
LeBron James, come on, man. You saw that people was tweeting about you, talking about, if this was LeBron, they would have been had him home.
Yeah.
You know why?
Yeah.
Because LeBron, you would have made the call.
Yeah.
Now, he wouldn't be over in Russia doing no crazy stuff.
No.
So you can't even put him in the same category. But you don't have to grift like that, LeBron. You could have just said, BG, it's a tough situation, and leave it at that. You had to take it to America don't have her back, so I don't know if I would even want to. Don't say that. Don't say that because you don't mean that, LeBron. You don't mean that, LeBron. You don't mean that.
That's when people like talk and have no clue what they're talking about. Which goes back to what you said. He's the biggest grifter.
He gonna say whatever is the most popular political thing you can say. He gonna say it and be straight face. That's what be killing me.
If you want, it's cool to show support. Like you want to show support, cool. But man,
but you be.
Stop saying dumb stuff, man. Just now you're trying to play into a persona and a narrative.
Yeah, like come on, man.
Educate yourself.
Yeah,
and then make a statement.
You talking just
that's it. He could have been better off saying, man, Britt, man, do like I did and read Malcolm X while you over there. Or something like that. Even though he never read it.
Not read a page, but every time he'll come out there and sit in front of them cameras with that book.
So, man, what have you taken from the book? Man, a lot of things. A lot of things. Everything each and every day. No creases in the spine of the book. The book ain't been cracked at all. Man, stop lying.
Stop lying, bro. Oh, it's so crazy because you LeBron, bro. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that, bro. You don't need to do that.
That's what I'm saying, man. He does way too much, man. Just too much.
Oh my goodness. It's just way too much, man.
Just too much.
He want to control the narrative too much. But I love you, I love LeBron. I had to get that off my chest because he'll do that to you every now and then. He'll say some shit where you like, you don't really mean that, LeBron. I know you don't.
Dude, come on, man. And then, people might not like hearing this, but look, I can't speak to it, man. I'm going to be very careful with what I say because when you're dealing with somebody and their spouse, that's heavy emotions. Somebody has to tell the significant other, the wife, to relax.
Oh, come on, bro.
Like calling, saying certain stuff, calling people out of their names. That's not that you're not going to speed up the process.
No. Because you got to think, other countries, they really don't care for real.
And that's the worst country to get locked up in. That's one of the worst.
These people in other countries, they don't have no empathetic, sympathetic, know. They like, I don't care about none of that.
None.
You over here breaking the law.
You don't get two darns about any of that, man.
You don't care nothing about none of that. And you're not going to convince them either. So, I just think, look, go ahead, do your little time. Ain't nobody coming to save you. You broke the law. So, okay,
And people want to act like she just got pulled over.
No.
Like, nah.
Nah, you really did some shit.
You forgot.
You forgot who you was at. This ain't.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got real TSA over there. They throw you in the gulag. They gonna throw you in the gulag over there. You mess around, and you think that's the problem with some of us. We think that these rules don't apply because you famous or you American or something. These other countries for real, and they justice system don't play fair. I know ours ain't the greatest, but theirs over there,
man. Look,
ain't no telling, man. Ain't no telling what you getting over.
Within the next year, BG will be home, man.
Yeah, she just
take
gonna have
a
to do that
while.
time, bro.
She's gonna be home, and all of these people just saying stuff and grifters calling the government out. Like, dude,
She did it.
come on, man. Come on, man. She better be happy that she is who she is.
Oh, because they wouldn't talk about her, and then it'd really be a problem. You'd be missing. They throw you in some ice in some Siberia, man.
Dude,
You lucky you tall and play basketball, because if you was some regular, you would have been in the gulag.
man, look, man. I've always been taught in the midst of a storm, man, you better give more praise than you've ever given, boy, because it's a reason. It's a reason. If you look around, I guarantee you can find multiple reasons to be grateful in the worst of situations. And the fact that she is who she is in that situation is the greatest blessing of all. It's the greatest blessing of all.
It barely saved you.
Man.
And it's really crazy because you're tall. So if you wasn't tall and you just one of these average height basketball players,
man,
they wouldn't have put you on no TV.
Man.
They just like who is this? She telling us she from America. She about 7 feet. She said she played basketball, but to us, she a criminal. So who is this? Come get her.
And I promise you, man, the situation is not funny to us.
No.
Blame LeBron James for being
it's the funny one.
For making
LeBron
it funny.
Yeah.
For making it funny. Because it's not funny at all.
No.
Like I said, I think I told the story before, dude. I did like maybe 30 hours.
And that was the worst 30 hours ever.
Ever. Over an old warrant from back in the day. And dude, just the fact that I had to put on a suit.
Yeah, you're like pissed half the time, and then you're like, man, this is real.
Man, come on, man. Come on, man. She all right. She'll be all right.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, they won't let anything happen to her because they know.
Yeah, it'll get
they
serious.
They allow something to happen to her in their custody. Oh, they know.
It'll get serious.
They know. They know.
Just put her in timeout, you know.
Yeah. She probably up in there living real good too. Better than other prisoners. Better than other prisoners.
Oh, she living. Yeah, they ain't treating her dog crazy.
No.
But she ain't got no luxury sofa. She ain't got no extra twin large in that twin. You know, her feet may be hanging off, but that's about it.
Oh man, Lucky Lefty podcast, man. Thank you everybody joining us today. It's a great show. Good petty train. That's what I like. Hit the like button for us, man. Let everybody know. Lucky Lefty podcast. We spin it different. And most of all, make sure that you spend it different on tomorrow. We got a special guest coming for you tomorrow. So you see you same time tomorrow for another edition of the Lucky Lefty